I got new pickups. I love them. They're nice and glassy. They're these, oh, they're not in there, obviously, but these Sun Bear pickups. And his packaging is gorgeous. It's like, there's no pickups in this one, but it's like, anyway. And then there's like silver pickups in there. So super cool. More importantly, these things sound awesome. I don't remember what this set is called. It's just one of his standard humbucker sets. The neck pickup sounds perfect. Bridge, middle. Bridge. Sounds awesome. Anyway, very, very, very happy with these. What does it mean to play melodic? Because I'm bringing this up because I have this one student, I'm not going to name names, who constantly, not constantly, I mean like once per year, will say, oh man, I heard this Clapton solo or whatever, and it was so melodic. He only played 3 notes, right? And that's the most common, he knows who he is. He's watching this. He knows who I'm talking about. But also, we've all heard that stuff. My pants are too short, aren't they? So everything's coming up Millhouse. Some of you get that reference. Remember that episode. Although I can't remember exactly, why did their house flood? I can't remember. Why did a bunch of water flow in? Anyway, everybody talks about, playing melodically as if it's the opposite of playing a bunch of notes, right? That to play melodically is to play a few notes. Or they're constantly grading Santana or Clapton or somebody on a curve where when they play a few notes, it's just magical. It's just automatically magical. And yet you could sit down and play those same 3 notes and it's just not magic. Sorry, you lose. That wasn't melodic. That was just a few notes, right? But in general, people think of melodic as being a few notes. And I'm here to, as usual, to disagree with that. I think it's not right. I would say, let's imagine a tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Was that melodic? Was every section of that melodic? I think it was very melodic, right? Here, I'll just do another one. Let's imagine another tempo. Like go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was that melodic? I think it was very melodic. It was a bunch of notes. But even if we took one little section of it, it wasn't few notes, right? No given section of that was few notes, right? I'll try to really lay into it. Let's pick a tempo. 1, 2, and 3. I'm just changing up the time feel of it too. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That last one was pushing it because I don't know why I was going over the bar so much, but But before that was something like ba 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 ba, something like that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 notes, and it was melodic. And you know why? And you already know I'm going to say this because this is paradigmatic to my thought, right? One of the things I'm always going on about is because in this case, what somebody who plays melodically is doing is playing rhythmically. They're playing something rhythmically interesting. That's all it is. That's all it is to play melodically, which is why, if I sit there and go, or is that melodic? I don't know. I mean, if Santana plays it, everybody says it's melodic. But is it? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything melodic about it. And just so, I know all the other ones were with the major scale, and that was with pentatonic. Just, I mean, I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay, moderately melodic. But I would make the claim it's less melodic than all the stuff that came before it. So, because despite the way people talk, melodic has nothing to do with how many notes you play. It has everything to do with, did you play something rhythmically interesting? Oh, you know what? By the way, just because I know I'm going to forget if I don't bring it up, I have this idea for a lesson format, and I'm just going to test it out with a couple of people, just to see if how this kind of lesson format went. We go cheaper than other lessons, but also pretty thorough. What about like $90 a month, and we just exchange texts or WhatsApp or whatever, right? We like every week we'll exchange a video and some thoughts. You send me a video of you doing this thing, and you send it, and then I'll send you a video back of, think of it more like this, blah blah blah, or whatever it is we're talking about, very related. And over time, of course, you've got a catalog of videos on all sorts of topics. Anyway, something to think about. It's cheaper than other lessons, less of a time commitment for both of us than other lessons, although we're in constant dialogue. It's more like your constant life coach, your playing life coach, right? I just want to try that with a couple of people and see what you think. What did I say? 90 a month. And we just exchange texts, right? Maybe 1 or 2 videos per week. Yeah, let's try it. Somebody who wants to try it with me, hit me up. Let's just see if it's a cool format, or if you think something's completely misguided about it, do let me know. But anyway, back to playing melodically. Playing melodically, like, remember when we talked about playing expressively? People think of playing expressively as either being something that it's not. Generally, maybe playing few notes. I think a lot of people think of playing expressively as playing few notes, which it can't be. But most people, I think, mean it they just mean some vague, amorphous. They're not sure what it is that makes it sound expressive, but they just know it when they hear it, right? And I think, and back when we talked about that, we said, hey, look, here's what people say, and it's super vague. Here's actually what a lot of them are referring to, and it's these exact habits that you can then do a ton until they're automatically part of your playing, and then voila, everybody says of you, wow, that guy plays really expressively. And they don't know what it is that you're doing. They don't know that it's actually these very tangible, repeatable, intentional things that you're doing. But, mcuth @hotmail.com. mcuth@hotmail.com is my email address if you wanted to try the lessons. And then I can give you my phone number or whatever. So just like with playing expressively, where you can, if you properly analyze it, you can get the thing, you can learn to hack people's brains into thinking, oh, I also play expressively. Only because you're doing this very tangible, intentional thing and they use a term that's completely intangible to refer to it. It's amorphous uh, and to refer to it. Um, it's a very similar thing here when people say, "Wow, that you play very melodically." What they don't realize that they mean is that you play rhythms that are interesting. That's all it is. Which also explains why. Uh, well, okay. So what a possible counterexample? I hear some of you saying it. Yeah, but the players who play a million notes, I can't stand to listen to them. Blah blah blah. They play a million notes, and it's very not melodic. And I would say, really, what's going on there is exactly what I'm saying. So a lot of players, some fast playing can be melodic because it's got little rhythm, it's got little pauses in it and interesting rhythms. It that's a good way you want to of learning to play. It's not easy to learn, but there are ways. In fact, if you go back and listen to the videos where I'm talking about initially talking about playing all the rhythms in your head, um, where I talk about playing with rap stuff. Anyway, I'll find it and I'll mention it in the next video. But with uh oh, the reason most people who play a million notes, the reason it's fatiguing isn't because it's melodic versus not melodic. I mean, it is not melodic, but it's not melodic because it's rhythmically uninteresting when most people do it, right? A constant blah, 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 blah. And by the way, I know some of you, I can hear your objection to this point, and I'm going to head that off at the pass here in a second. But the constant notes is not rhythmically interesting. It being not melodic is not a function of how many notes there are. It's a function of it being rhythmically, constantly redundant and rhythmically blah. Um, which is why, and I hear some of you saying it. Yeah, but when Cannonball Adderley plays a bunch of eighth notes, it's 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 melodic. It's interesting, and that's right. It is. Why do the great jazz players why does Chris Potter sound melodic when he blazes? Sometimes. I mean, sometimes these dudes do, and sometimes they don't. But the blazing stuff can be melodic, even though it's nonstop notes. And I have an answer for you. Why? And it's why jazz eighth note, jazz fast playing tends to sound one step more interesting than rock fast playing. Not everybody's. Some people have the gift. Uh, Mike Landau, Guthrie, right? They can be very, very interesting, rhythmically interesting, um, despite when they're playing fast. But the jazz fast playing, man, I'm glad that didn't just snap off right on the video. That would have been pretty sweet. I do hope if it ever snaps off that it happens on video. That would be cool. I also do hope that it doesn't snap off. So, I don't remember if I mentioned this thing is slated as Pelham blue, uh, presumably with the top coat yellowed, therefore making green. I don't for 1 second believe that it's blue under this top coat. So they just straight up painted it green. I'll guarantee you. Um, so, but they call it Pelham blue. Um, jazz eighth note, jazz fast playing tends to be more interesting sounding than rock playing, fast playing. Not just because of the note choice, but because of the dynamics, right? In jazz playing, so rock playing will tend to dynamically be, or let me pick the same speed here, but everything's very dynamically flat, right? And even the ups and down contours in rock, the way most players play it, it doesn't draw interesting shapes. It's another thing to think about when you think of, because I would say second place to rhythm, playing interesting rhythms in your soloing, is playing interesting shapes. Yeah, I think that is somewhat reflective. I mean, I think it's if you go back and listen to my wankery you'll hear there is clearly a concern for shapes and climbing and falling fast, climbing slow, falling fast, climbing fast, falling slowly, or like up and down shapes, right? Or contrast between lows and highs and things like that. So do start to think maybe I should do a separate video on just contour. But jazz fast playing tends to sound interesting because it's not it's not dynamically all the same. Instead, jazz playing tends to have random dynamics in it. So let me do a swing, right? 1 2 1 2 3 4 right. I'm singing it like horse crap, but there those accents that happen, right? You get a very dynamically non-flat line, right? And those accents are creating a meta rhythm, and your ear is hearing that meta rhythm, and it might find that meta rhythm interesting. But even if it doesn't find that meta rhythm interesting, it finds the fact that there are, in a sense, two rhythms going on. There's the constant da 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 da. Oh, sorry, let me swing it. Right. I'm swinging a little hard because I don't usually sing this stuff, but your it's there's that constant eighth notes rhythm, but there's also a rhythm that emerges from some of the notes being loud, whereas the other ones are soft, right? And so when you have dynamics like that, your nonstop fast playing will inherently be more interesting than someone for whom the dynamics are all the same. Therefore, your ear is only latching on to the one rhythm that's happening. Make sense? But in general, what you're looking to do to play melodically is play rhythmically interesting. So that's a decent note, a decent number of notes, and it was interesting. Whereas, is that interesting? There's a way fewer notes, right? So that's the idea. When people say that person plays melodically, what they mean is, and they don't know it, but that's where you come in. That's where you come in and are able to manipulate them, which is most of the reason why you learn music theory, is to make people feel things at your will, right? But when they say melodic, what they don't realize they're interpreting as melodic is rhythmically interesting, rhythmically catchy. So learn to play rhythmically catchy, and that's playing melodically, not playing few notes versus playing a lot of notes. Make sense? Cool. I am HO as usual. I should take the H out. I'm pretty dang opinionated. So, there you go. If anybody wants to try that lesson format, I'm keen to try it. It just occurred to me a couple of weeks ago, like that might play right into some people's, what some people would want. Partly because you don't have to directly play in front of somebody. Partly because it's cheaper, right? It's half the price of everybody else's lessons. Partly because you're constantly getting a record that you can review and marinate on. You know what I mean? And ask questions as you think of them. You don't have a 30-minute window to think of whatever it is you're going to think of and then try to remember it for the next lesson. It's just, the constant contact would be a good idea. So, there you go. mcuth@hotmail.com if you're interested in trying that. So I think it might be cool, or it might end up being stupid and terrible, or maybe you're like, man, why is he waiting 3 days to text me? Which, and I'm not saying we would constantly text. I don't need to see your dinner. I am a very friendly texter, so do feel free to text stuff. There you go. Cool. All right. Bye.